Welcome to Humanity Unboxed with me, Michaell, and my favorite guest, Michaell Magrutsche from the Black Dot
Thank you.
Cafe in Laguna
From the
Beach.
famous Black Dot Cafe in Laguna Beach.
That's it. There's no rain in Laguna Beach yet this morning. I'm
Yes,
glad to
there was a
report.
lot of rain yesterday, but
Yeah,
and at night, so we
yeah,
good.
yeah. It's freezing. Yeah, we had a wonderful break in the sun. There was sunshine, and I met with actual physical people um,
Oh,
that doesn't live in my home on Saturday, and then the cold is back again today.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
So
Yeah,
how?
but I learned
Mm,
about winter
yeah.
from the German. It's a German expert in trees, and he was the one that I wrote on the thing that forests don't just get fire, even if a flash hits a oak tree, then
Mm,
only the oak tree gets burned. It's never burning the whole fire. And
yeah.
he told us that trees see with their leaves.
Oh
They
yeah.
see with their leaves,
Yeah.
and in winter they don't see because they sleep. They go sleep at
Yeah.
winter. Like when we sleep, we don't see that, right?
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
thought that's
that's
so
quite
cute. That
cool.
was so cute. Yeah. They
Yeah.
see that thing and then they lose their leaves because they're
Yeah.
going to go to sleep. It's
Yeah.
almost like get the nightgown on, go to sleep when they were. And so in the
Yeah.
solstice, it hits. So when that what is it? The equinox. So equinox is same. When it
Yeah.
shifts to from away from winter,
Yeah.
when it
Salt.
get the days get longer,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
then the trees start, and I couldn't believe that deer stop. They're already pregnant,
Mm.
and they stop in winter the embryo development because they have to be born in May. The
Oh
embryos,
wow.
otherwise they die. How great is that? So
Yeah.
why don't I hear that everywhere and everybody knows that?
But
See,
why
that's
don't
what
we, yeah, and why don't we
that's
see
what you
it
and I
in also
said.
nature? Yes, we
Yeah,
also need rest and quiet and kind of
absolutely.
inner reflection. And
Yeah,
trees, I mean, I love the trees in winter. Well,
yeah,
around here because they're so bare and vulnerable, and their personalities for me really
yeah,
come out.
totally.
They're gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really amazed. I get a lot of information from this guy.
Yeah.
Uh, he has a podcast, Peter in the Wald, German, of course.
Okay.
So it doesn't help. Peter
Yeah.
und der Wald, and it's Peter Wolle. Peter Wolle. I want to give him a plug because I learned so much from him about nature and humans.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
amazing. And is this
yeah,
podcast in German?
in German,
Okay.
sadly,
Yeah, my
sadly in
German.
German. It doesn't. Yeah.
Well,
I wish he would do it in English because he speaks well English.
yeah.
So, but he's like the master. He's the artist of forestry in Germany, and you know
Oh,
it's all
wow.
German. It's all forest.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So he
The
brings in the updated system. Don't clean a wood out because
yeah.
that's a business thing. They say if you clean a forest
Mm,
and have it all, and the heavy machinery goes in and everything is clean,
mm,
that destroys the forest. And actually
yeah.
that increases the fire instead of decreases. See, the system relevant thing is if it's not cleaned out, it's going to start fire. Not true.
Mm. And because there's mulching happening, there's decay of
And
older
the
things
natural,
that
yeah.
make it work well.
Nature doesn't need
Yeah.
help. Excuse us,
Mm.
anybody needs help, but not nature.
Yeah. Well, there are two things coming up. So last week when we chatted, I didn't keep an eye on the chat box, and
Yeah.
John was saying that nature also is closed systems, which I've been thinking about quite a bit because it is, but it is a natural system
It is the
that
universe. It's not from
changes.
human created.
That's
It's
it.
not man-made. I'm
Yeah.
talking, I have nothing against systems that are
Mm.
universe, that are humans, I have nothing against that.
Yeah.
I have something to, when it took millions of years to create you and I, that we actually can talk to each other and have all this consciousness, yeah?
Yeah.
And somebody comes in 10 years, or I don't know how long the internet comes, or the computer, and says, oh, we are totally clear, we do digital world, we don't need the regular world, and we go to Mars.
Yeah.
What is the point of being here when you don't, look at
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
this
Well,
life here?
maybe it's better for us if some people go to Mars. Maybe there will
No, we
be.
are all one on one. We are all one on one,
I
but
know.
also one. So the thing is,
Yeah.
I told you that we live in a dream of separation. That
Yes.
it's
Yes.
yeah, we live in a dream of separation because
Mm.
the more we become aware, the more we know we are not disconnected.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel when some of my friends are sick,
Mm.
I mean, we are all interconnected,
Yeah.
and there were days where I said, when people, I think last time I said that, excuse themselves uh, because they said I was mean yesterday. I'm a coach. I'm supposed to be a leader, whatever. I said no. Everybody yesterday was off. Everybody that I ran into, because it's just a shift, energy shift,
Yeah.
vibrational.
And that's a great way for us to notice and be aware
Yeah.
of each other, because we were talking about it this weekend. I had a dialogue, group dialogue experience in person, which usually I do online. And it's interesting for me because even online we can tap into each other. I mean, we
Yeah,
are
I know.
thousands of kilometers apart, but we can tap into each other's consciousness, awareness, energy field, whatever we want to call it. And in person, it's very different because not only that you're in someone else's space, but you're also more aware of your whole body. Like when we're on screen, this is only the only part
It's
that's,
limited. It's the
yeah,
digital
yeah,
is always sacred. The digital world is one of the. I'm not saying it's bad. It just is, but you have to be aware what it is. It's the most segregating thing, and it's not true because you can't really use your six. If I text you, I cannot use. If you would tell me the same thing that you text me, it's already different. If I would see you saying the same things in real, it would be different. You know
but
what I mean?
don't you think that if we make a conscious effort or a conscious awareness, we tap into our consciousness when we receive a text or when we communicate with each other in any way, whether it is written
Yeah,
or
but
in
it's
words?
energy, but it takes more energy because when
Yes.
I dance with you, I don't need any energy. I can
No.
talk to you forever. And
Yeah.
if I would have you physically here, we probably would. We could just talk forever, do a
Yeah.
podcast 8 hours a day. I mean, we could, because
Yeah.
it's no effort. It's completely coming. We didn't know what we're talking about. We didn't know we're talking about trees and this today.
Yeah.
But I want to show people that you don't need to be prepared. That's
Mhm.
system relevant. You can
But
just,
it also blocks a lot. Yeah.
unless you want to look in specific some specific thing of a disease or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you want to teach, or you want to, then there becomes this hierarchical aspect again.
Yeah.
As with, you mentioned the word help earlier. I can't remember what you were saying. Oh, nature doesn't need help. And
No,
I'm
that's
really struggling with this word help because I don't think humans need help either. You
no.
know, we need to
They just are.
move
They
out
just
of,
are.
yeah, we need to move out of this illusion of separation so that we can rebalance together.
Yeah.
But help, I'm struggling with a lot.
See, help is something to sell
Yeah.
because if I help somebody, I have to, somebody has to pay for that or whatever. It's a segregation again, a system segregation. System is human-centric is just nature. We are part of nature, blah 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 blah, and we handle whatever comes on, whatever life. Life just is. It is for 8 billion people the same. It is life.
Mm.
What we have 8 billion perspectives, and and that and the system takes advantage. Now takes advantage. It wasn't taking advantage, but now takes advantage that we are all different, and every time I say, "Oh, you are a woman instead of a man like me," or
Mm,
"You are this or that," it segregates us. If I
mm,
say you're South African and I'm Austrian, but they live in thing, it just segregates us. It's just a
yeah.
segregation. You
And
are
this,
a human and I'm a human, and we are part of
yeah,
nature.
yeah,
And the other things are obvious anyways. Why do I need to say you're black or I'm green? Why do
yeah.
I need to say that?
But my experience in this physical form has an influence on how open or how we engage, what I understand in our engagement.
Of course, you come from different tribe.
Yeah, yeah.
What,
But
what
we're
is it?
also part of the big tribe, So there's,
Exactly.
yeah,
For the
there is
human
the
tribe
biggest.
first, not just in the past. There were just one tribe and another tribe, and they
Mm,
were segregated. They didn't know that they were one.
yeah,
But now through the internet, we get more conscious that we are all one of one, and one, the big one,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So we see that. So when and when you listen to a lot of people that are spiritual or whatever, they say we came to this planet to grow. The universe created these experiments of humanity and Earth to grow. So it had to segregate us to find back, to discover
mm,
in that segregate, because it is. There's no time and space.
yeah,
So we have to come together. We are together all first, then
yeah.
we come to this place in the physical incarnation, lower the frequency,
Mm,
and then find our ways up from a one cellar to more and more and more over millions of years,
mm,
and become aware of what we are, because we're not becoming aware of what is. It
yeah,
is what is. And so we become, and this is the growth. And so the whole universe, even that made us, or whatever we decided to make us,
mm,
is constantly growing. And then it probably will shrink again. That's too far from me. I can't think
yeah,
that way. But I see already the humanity shrinks.
yeah.
There's so many, Japan, Italy, so many, I think, want to pay people to come and live there. Greece. Yeah. So,
But this is an interesting kind of concept that you're touching on, because I sent you this link. It's Joe Rogan, so it's like three
yeah.
hour long podcast. But this guy, I've never seen Joe Rogan that quiet ever. Was talking most of the time. I know his surname is Campbell. I can't remember now what
Yeah.
his name is, but he talks about this system. Well, this theory, or whatever we want to call it, about reality. And it's kind of like he's got me, and then I'm like, you're a bit spacey, and then but he talks about consciousness being awareness with choice.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
like that, as a container for how we see consciousness, to bring
But
into awareness.
I agree, but it can never be wrong. Even if I decide
Exactly.
to be,
Yeah.
even if I decide to be the worst person ever, it's just a longer way, but it gets me basically to the one. So it's
Yeah.
not like bad people don't go to the one; they just have to suffer more and go through more stuff to get to the one, and
But
not in
it's
this
also,
life.
how do we judge,
And there's no good and
bad
bad.
people,
Exactly.
or yeah.
I know. No,
Um
it's not good. But I'm
yeah.
saying even if we would think what we on earth is right, and
Yeah.
what on earth is bad, we
Yeah.
choose that.
Yeah.
Is no difference than if we choose is good. It's no
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. And in this, what he was explaining, he was talking about looking at reality as virtual, as something that we are, like an avatar. We are the avatar that we play in this reality. And
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
this, this
I mean,
universe, this reality has got a storage capacity as such,
yeah,
possibly.
yeah,
But what I liked about it was that he kept saying, this is what I think now, and
yeah,
it might change. But so far, I've come
yeah.
up
So
with
far,
this.
right now, we are there.
Yeah,
Yeah, You're conscious. Our awareness is to there. Our awareness was there were bad people and good people, right? That was our awareness. Now we know about neurodiversity and say, oh, when we look at the statistics and say, oh, the most neurodiverse percentage of people is in prison, is artists, prison, or homeless. When we see that, all of a sudden this is not bad, because they cannot understand, they cannot deal with the system, outdated system relevance with it, and they say, I gotta use whatever I use to survive. And so when we get clear of that, then all of a sudden it's not good or bad, it's just the guy needs to survive. And or the girl or whatever, whoever gets in the thing. And you know that they're brilliant gangsters, right? And no, the police cannot catch up to them or whatever.
Yeah.
And who knows how many gangsters there are that the police never catches up to, because they're too limited in the system relevance. It's not about good or bad. It's about humans that go this way. I mean, Satan isn't bad. Satan is just the duality that we created. So, I mean, it makes even no sense in the history, right? If Satan is dropped from the top, Jesus, he was closest to Jesus, but he wanted to compete with Jesus. He wanted to be better than Jesus.
Yeah.
Dropped out. If you're on that level, which none of us is, right?
Yeah.
If you're on that level, you're not gonna choose the primitive thing. But we need to see the dichotomy before to grow to awareness. So first is binary, and then is oneness, and then and awareness. It comes high up.
But that's just human.
We're going. I mean, I love it. All this stuff comes because of you. I mean, this is because of both.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I'm just a speaker. I'm just the loudspeaker.
And yet none of these things are real,
No,
because
nothing.
Maybe they are.
It is.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just is. Life is. And whatever you do, it has no good or bad. It has the meaning you give it.
Yeah.
So if
sometimes we experience the bad, sometimes the experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have to, because if we have also impact.
Yeah.
And if we have the impact, we have to see all the impact of others. And you can, and when you vary on the binary level, you have to be the good or the bad. You have to be the better, and you have to be the worst. You have to be this and that, and that's conflict. I mean, the conflict. How long do we say it's just because of something we all believe? It's never enough, no matter what, for generations, right? The kings and whatever, they started that, and it's never enough, no matter what we do. And the more you have, the more power and fame you have, the more you're afraid of losing it, because you created that you're a billionaire. I mean, the pressure to be a billionaire must be insane. And a lot of them kill themselves or
realize that it isn't all it's made
no,
up.
because it's the wrong, it's never enough, no matter what. It's the wrong promise. So they get little hints when they make a deal. I feel good, I feel normal, right?
Yeah.
And so they get addicted to the deals. And when there's a threat that tomorrow you cannot have those deals, or you go, that's why billionaires don't retire. In the old days, when you and I grew up, right? The people got $1 million or whatever, and they said, beautiful, have a couple of chicks, have the cars and whatever,
Yeah. Well, I don't think all. I think
not all.
No,
I mean, it's never all. I'm just saying it was the tendency.
Yeah.
When I say all, it's the tendency. It's never all.
I strive to be a Rick Rubin and to walk around barefoot and have enough money and be. Wouldn't it be nice to not worry about things, goals?
But I think but this is very interesting, because when we are in that position to just be, we are vehicles, right? We are vessels. All we are all. I always had an old in the old times. I had it. Said, imagine a tire, the tube of a tire, right?
Yeah.
It has a valve, right? Imagine all these valves. There's billions of valves in this, and we and some shoot out the air straight, some spread it, whatever. So we are all valves.
Mm.
When you are really in peace with yourself, the stuff comes through. And that's your passion. That's why then the stuff comes through and your passion. And wasn't that great with the patients?
Yeah.
It's a systemic, and I discovered it's a systemic thing like lazy, right?
Mm.
It's all because you're not looking at your passion. If you're passionate about it, you need to be patient. When you have passion, you think you're in the now creating. That's all you are. In the now, you're creating more. And you are fascinated by the feedback that you get. See, because you created, don't you think Elon is fascinated by the feedback he gets for himself? Not what people say. I don't care what people say. But what he says, look here, I had the idea. I went to America. I did this. I did that. I mean, me was my thing. I was born in Austria, couldn't do school, couldn't do nothing. Wasn't good. And boom, I went here, was a politician, was a political advisor, all this stuff. It wasn't the top, it wasn't the most successful. I love the feedback nobody can take that away. You see, they can say, oh, you were horrible as a politician, you're a bad thing, but I did it. See, you can never take the action that you did. You can say, oh, Michaell, your podcast, it's not really getting me. You don't do all the crazy stuff that you're supposed to do. But hey, where's your podcast? You know what I mean? You did it. It doesn't matter. It is irrelevant what you say about my stuff. I do it. That's the icing on the cake. If you get an award or something, that's the icing on the cake. It's not.
Or it is, for me, that's not even something that's an icing. It's
that's
not.
Why
part of the.
But that's why I am so happy to work with you because you are so wise. You're
Thanks,
a wisdom seeker. No, you are.
Yes, I'm a wisdom seeker.
And I have nothing. And I have nothing to. It doesn't. I'm happy. I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
That's all. Because
thank you so much.
Every human is the most exciting thing. I mean, I could never exchange a computer for a human. Never. A human, you get so rare,
Yeah.
And so.
And so I had an interesting question this weekend when we were in our dialogue. Someone asked, what is the system? What is the difference between the system and a human? Like that I can understand, but I couldn't put my finger on easily saying, because, what is a system?
What is a system? Is a system, we are creative. I coined us as what is it? In nature, we are a creative, creativity, collaborative, creative. I have it like basically what it is. I have a nicer word, but we are a species, collaborative creative species of nature. We are collaborative creative species. Otherwise, we just would do one thing and never. We have system, and the system is the result of that.
Yeah,
it's that what we collaborative creating, and the systems are this. But when the system pivot to, that's now more important than nature in our existence. That's why I want that people get that. That's why I can guarantee that your life gets 50% easier if you just can segregate or compartmentalize human-centricity, part of nature, 101 and 1, versus system relevance. That is binary, linear, and it's just and it's not work. I'm not talking down to it. I'm saying it's wonderful. But when you see it as, when you perceive a man-made system that is uh, that is like much better than nature, and then in nature, I'm asking, why can you? Why don't we talk about the leaves? Why don't we talk about that science is not able and capable yet to find out? It will be, but not yet. To find out how gallons and liters of water go from trees against, the huge trees against gravity in leaves. How can that happen? They can simplest things they cannot think because they have to make everything complicated, and that holds them back from finding it out.
Yeah.
So this is, you cannot make that what we said before, like 20 years or 40 years or since we have computers and internet.
Yeah.
That can just shortcut millions of years of experience from a one seller to humans.
Yeah.
Worldwide, even worldwide. I mean, imagine from a one seller to us, to humans, and then all being conscious, we are all one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that is it. So system relevance is just different. It needs to be seen in the right perspective, I think. Everything is. You can see it in the other perspective. We know that, right?
Yeah.
But there's another perspective that's it. It's we created it, and we collaboratively created it, and it's never enough, no matter what we do. That needs to be. If that's not changed, then these systems are gonna get it.
Yeah.
Not if that's not. I'm not saying anything, a rule or anything. I'm just saying we gotta be aware that is the way it is. See, I'm always saying, always the awareness. We always come back to what you and I love.
Yeah.
If you're sick in the morning as a woman, you say, hey, what did we eat? What did we drink? Why am I throwing up the last 3 years? 3 days, And then you go to the doctor and say, hey, I ate something. I said, no, you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Changes the whole how you look at life.
Yeah.
So life is, but the perception, this is wonderful. Thank you for being here. The perception, life is, life just is. But our perception is crazy. It's like it changes a little bit, different perception, changes the whole experience. Because if you think you have eaten, I have stomach cancer, I've eaten something, you could have so many possibilities, right? And you wouldn't, because you just didn't even think about that.
Yeah. But now suddenly there's nothing wrong,
and there's nothing wrong too. That's beautiful. And there is nothing wrong. That's why I said there's no good or bad. It's just, there's nothing wrong. It just is. It's the perception, how you perceive that. But if you, like we found, when we look at why are so many neurodiverse in prison and artists, how that dichotomy, how can that be? Because they can't handle the systems. The man-made system. They can't handle nature. Yeah. They're all good in nature. Yeah. Artists have a tremendous connection to nature.
Yeah.
There's very few artists that don't. I've never met a person that has no.
Because there's awareness, with artists, there is an awareness outside of themselves. There's something that they see in the world, or and I just want to come back to this point of, something being wrong. It's such a conditioned, systemic thing. We go through different stages. We transition as we go through life constantly. We're never stagnant. Once we become stagnant, there's, I think, and I might be wrong, there's usually a force, a disruption, a change, something that brings us back into a flow of transition, a transience, a change, so that we can carry on transitioning.
Because it's the opposite of life, right? When you're stagnant, you're dead.
Yeah.
When energy stops.
But now these stages are seen as wrong. You menopause. How do we fix? You can't fix any of this. This is.
Why would you?
This is
Why would you?
cycles.
Why not embrace it
Yeah.
learn from it,
Mm.
have woman talk, not man, have woman
Mm.
talk. You can show it to a man if somebody's a specialist. Just have them talk. They talk about, their abortion or not abortion.
Mm.
It's not a man's business. We talk about other things, So let them figure it out, and if you need us, there are probably a lot of scientists that will help and awareness people.
Mm.
And also people might be interested. I would be interested. I said, this is interesting. How is that showing up in nature, menopause? So I would go right away in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say, okay, we know what we think. And then what is our judgment about it? And what is our, because there's a lot of judgment about it. It's almost like that woman is done. What? Because I can't get babies anymore, I'm done?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how shaming can you be?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that comes from medicine,
Yeah.
because
But it's
medicine want to
also,
sell you something.
yeah, and it's also this concept that we only have this little bit and we're going to stretch out this life because instead of looking at possibly the soul having a journey through different lives and spaces and human vehicles and things like that, possibly. So instead of going, we have to extend this often suffering in this space, why not look at it as a transient, as a transition on a bigger scale, looking at this infinite game where there is no end. There's just a new
Yeah,
transition, which death might be one of them.
yeah. But
And that's,
also, nature doesn't make a mistake. We said that over.
yeah,
I see that over. So why would nature create something where we have tremendous pain? So the pain must come from something. From conditioning, from there must come from somebody, that somebody is not worthy because he is at a certain age. That's age discrimination. That's systemic again.
mm,
So, I mean, I don't, I don't, I don't. I just say that there's no pain that's supposed to be. There's pain when we hold back, when we suppress, when we think. But when we let go, perhaps that's a time, menopause, to
yeah,
let go. I don't know. I'm just talking from my senses. I'm not talking. I don't know anything. I told you that, Eva. Please
yeah,
don't quote me. I don't know anything.
yeah.
I'm
This
aware
is,
though.
I
I'm
think
aware.
I think
Yeah.
this is something we might need to go back into because there's a big topic here as to a lot of people are in pain that are inflicted on them. Children that are born in
Yeah.
Gaza,
Yeah.
for example, they didn't,
Yeah.
they can't just let go um, of their,
Yeah. Where is that coming from? It's never
where's that
enough, no
coming
matter what.
from?
It's
Well,
never
yeah,
enough systemically
yeah,
because
but they didn't
it
choose. They had no choice in
yeah.
that.
And see that you have to segregate that in human-centric and system relevant. That is again system relevant, a symptom of system relevance.
Mm,
When we have enough of everything. We talked about this. Right? There's enough money. There's enough food. There's enough everything.
mm,
But the systemicization is our dream of separation. It amplifies all the separation dream,
yeah,
which we need to find together. But as long as we have a generator of it's never enough no matter what, it's very hard to bring the people together because in lack and it's never enough, people are segregating because they get in fight flight, they want to survive.
yeah,
And they go into
yeah,
singularity of themselves
yeah.
versus in both, in the self and both. In the paradox is the power. We
That's it.
are one of one and we are one.
Yeah,
And when you dance in that, that's why I say dance with,
yeah,
and don't think the life treated you bad.
yeah,
Life, it just is. That's why life isn't fair. Life isn't fair because it just is. It's what and let's tweak and think that we can get together. Oh,
yeah.
that's beautiful. Thank you. I learned a lot. Thank you. I learned a lot.
Brilliant. And that's a perfect place for us
Thank you.
to say we will see each other again next week. I think
Yeah.
on Thursday, but I'll double check.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, And I thank you and the
Thank you.
Black Dot Cafe who's making
Yeah.
this possible.
Yeah.
um, Thank you,
Thank you.
Michael.